I'm Chris with Shepherd Industries and Dakota Fiber Mill, and I'm coming to you from the Nome Schoolhouse. I'm currently in the event center as the mill is not quite complete. It will be complete in June, so we're looking forward to that and having all of you come and visit us here, maybe attend a retreat, stay in one of our guest rooms, and just be pampered and treated like royalty. Anywho, so I am making a how to send your fiber into the fiber mill video, kind of showing and going through some frequently asked questions that I get asked. And one of the main ones is how much debris, how much VM, vegetation, what have you, is acceptable in your fiber when you send it to me. There's a lot of fiber mills that your fiber needs to be completely skirted or it will be shipped back to you. We will not do that. The only thing we will not accept is any fiber that has wool moth evidence, either past or present. And wool moth evidence is either the eggs. The picture that you're looking at shows the wool moths in their three different forms, and it's the pupa where they look like little maggots, little worms, and then there's the actual wool moth themselves, which are about the size of a pencil eraser. They're very small. They're not your typical miller moths. They're very small, so you can have those actually in there, or the eggs, and the eggs are like grains of sand, but they will be in an area that has been eaten, so it'll be like a little pocket in here, and you'll see these little grains of it looks like grains of sand, and you can tell that the fiber has actually been chowed down on. Or you'll find the little cocoons, which look like kind of larger grains of rice. They're very small, and a lot of folks mistake them for chaff itself. So that's the picture, so you have something to go by in that respect. And how not to get the wool moths in your fleeces is don't leave them in the barn uncovered in just an open bag up in your hay mow or whatever. It's best to keep them inside where you can keep them away from little critters like that, but they can still get in even if it's in your house, in your basement, in your garage, what have you. I use Tempo at the mill. It is a residual pesticide that is amazing, and it's very safe for other animals, for cats, dogs, and the like. And I just spray everything down a couple times a year in the mill and in my wool storage areas, and that takes care of them. The wool moths themselves are very easy to kill. Or you can put it in your freezer. If you get a skein of yarn or something that has them, you can, freezing them for a few days will work as well, or washing them in super hot water. Okay, with that said, we'll continue on to the vegetation here now. This would be too much. It is to your advantage when you send it to Dakota Fiber Mill, to Shepherd Industries here. It's to your advantage that it is well skirted and that you take the time to pull out the armpits, which of course it's the area underneath the legs of the sheep, and it looks like this. If you can, hopefully you can see that it's very tarry because of the rubbing. When the animal walks, it's just very tarry, and if the tips are black, if they're tarry, there's no amount of washing that's going to get that out. So that just gets thrown away, and otherwise in the neck area and down the back, oftentimes it looks like this, where the vegetation the chaff is so thick in there that you just pull that all out and throw that away, because that's just not processable at all. It's just so thick in there. So that will just get thrown away, and often, so always look at the neck. That when we shear, we have a skirting table similar to this one I'm standing in front of, and on our YouTube channel, EWE, we do have a tutorial on how to build just a simple PVC skirting table, which works great, very inexpensive. And then as we're shearing, it just gets thrown up on here, and we quickly skirt away all the edges, the armpits, the neck, and the rest of it goes in a bag. And then before we process it, so then it looks pretty much like this. And you can see that there's chaff in it. There's a little bit of chaff and a little bit of dirt here and there, but not bad at all. And a lot of this little chaff will fall out in the process, in the carting process and the picking process, and so on and so forth. So that you're not gonna, I mean, the sheep don't live in your living room, so you're not, it's not going to be completely chaff free. There's gonna be a little bit in there, and that's just fine. And then again, here's a fleece that was a coated fleece, and there literally is nothing in there. And this is an exception. We don't often get them shipped to us that looks this pristine. And in a situation like this, you know, we'll just pull it apart. It'll be shoved in the wash bags. There's no monkey picking needed, nothing, and we just wash it straight away. And then this customer will only have the grease loss, which is the grease that is naturally in wool. Whereas a customer that sends it in, you know, that has a lot of debris like this, so we got to do a lot of skirting and a lot of monkey picking, and we throw away half the fleece, you know, we'll do that. We're not going to refuse the fleece, but it ends up being a lot of loss on your end, on the customer's end, and you're paying us per incoming weight, so it's your advantage to do that. And then another question I get a lot is, should I wash it before I send it in? And I do, there also on our YouTube channel, we do have a how to wash wool tutorial on there, and you certainly can wash it before you send it in, because in doing so, when you have sheep's wool, it's at least a 30% grease loss in there. So if you wash it first, you're taking that out of the equation. You no longer have that grease loss. If you're not real confident about whether or not you can get it completely grease-free, what have you, don't worry about that, because our policy is that we re-wash all incoming fiber, period. No matter if we deem it clean enough, that's just our policy, is we wash everything. So if you want to take the time and wash it, absolutely, we welcome that. We don't give you a discount on the incoming weight per pound, because we do rewash it, but there again, you've already cut your, especially with sheep's wool, you've cut that at least 30 up to 50% sometimes lanolin loss with the heavy grease fleeces. And then as far as alpaca, mohair, the other fibers, it's basically the same. You know, if on the alpaca, it's the same with the neck. The barrel of the alpaca is generally what folks process into the yarn, and then the neck and the leg fiber they process into roving. So they'll send me first, which is the blanket where the saddle would go on a horse, that area of the alpaca, and then they'll bag up the neck and the leg and send that into and have that done into roving. Is generally how it's done, but if the customer wants it all thrown together and made into yarn, I will certainly do that for them. That's totally up to them. And mohair is the same. Mohair, it's very susceptible. I call it scurf. It's like a fiber dandruff, and the Angora goats are very susceptible for it for some reason. It can be caused by skin irritation, skin infections, mites, you know, lots of different things, but it does not wash out and it does not card out. And the scurf, that would be at the base. After you shear the animal, you'll go, oh, you'll see right around, and it wraps around at the base of the fiber where it was sheared. It wraps around each of the fiber follicles, and you can't get it off. It's just, I mean, unless you would take the time to literally cut that whole layer off, you can't get it off. So the best, what I recommend folks to do, is just to pull out that area, throw it away, because it's going to, if it goes through the process, it's going to be in your finished yarn, it'll be in your finished roving, and it gets all over my carder. So I generally don't like to. I will skirt it out myself and throw it away if it's in there. There again, that's in mohair. I've seen it some in some sheep and also in some alpaca, but not quite as common in those two two types of fibers. So then what you want to do, how to send it to me. If you're in the speedy delivery zone, they service 5 states. It's SPEDE delivery. That's the most economical way to get it to us here in Nome. Whether it's if you bring it to them, to one of their drop-off spots, or you pay the $6 to have them come to your house and pick it up. It's very economical. Otherwise, if you're out of one of those states, the post office parcel post works great. And I don't care what you put it in to get it to me. You can put it in a clear bag, you can put it in a black bag, you can put it in, I know some mills say don't put it in feed bags. As long as your feed bag has no feed in it and is completely empty, throw it in the feed bag. I don't care, just get it to me, and I'm not fussy on how you do. A great way to do that is if you put it in a plastic bag that has no holes in it, take your vacuum cleaner, your shop vac, and put a nylon over the end of it and suck all that air out, and then tape it up real quick. So it's all compressed. That's not going to harm the fiber, and the more compressed you can get that fiber, the more you can get it in a box. Because if you're shipping through the post office, don't use bigger than an 18 by 18 by 18 box, because otherwise you're going to be paying the large box fees that go along with an oversized box. So bear that in mind. Now, if you're shipping with speedy delivery, they go strictly by weight, so you can use any size box, and it's strictly by the weight. But there again, the more air you can suck out of the bags, and some folks even use those vacuum bags that have the little doohickey on it that you hook up your vacuum cleaner to, that sucks it out. You sure can use that, and I will ship those bags back to you. I will save them for you after, when we're done processing your fiber. Yeah, and that's basically the most frequently asked questions here at Dakota Fiber Mill. And again, my recommendations were for our mill, not for other mills in the country. This is just for the Dakota Fiber Mill, and we look forward to processing your fiber. Thanks so much for watching. God bless you.